everyone, it's Caitlin and welcome to another video. This video is going to be more of a sit-down chat in which I just talk to you guys about things. And since I am doing a Vlogmas and it is the holiday season, I thought it would be a fun idea to talk to you guys about my thoughts on how I feel about like diet culture surrounding the holidays and how to quote-unquote stay healthy during the holidays. Sorry, I needed to get some water because my mouth is really dry, and if I'm gonna talk for like a few minutes, I got a drink. But yes, so if that topic sounds interesting to you and you want to hang out and grab a bite to eat, grab a cup of tea, or just watch me, whatever, let's go. So I personally have experienced sort of like anxiety or fear around holiday type food. Honestly, nowadays I don't, and I'm happy to say that I don't, but a few years ago when I was a lot more into exercising and eating clean food, you guys know how I feel about that, all the time, when I would come home for the holidays, I would not want to eat the food that my family was making. And I was vegan at the time. I think initially when I started out I was just vegetarian, but even when I was vegan for a short amount of time, I would come home and like my mom or my family member would make this really decadent, yummy thing because they wanted me to feel included in the holidays, and I felt grateful that they did it, but I also kind of felt guilty because I didn't want to eat unhealthy food because I was so used to controlling my life and controlling what foods I could eat when I was back at school. And I mean, I still live on my own and do all my cooking for myself now, so I still could potentially feel that way, but like I've said, I feel like I've learned to let go a little. So I wanted to sort of share my journey with you guys and see if maybe you could relate and if you feel the same way. And if you have thoughts or want to comment on this conversation at all in a polite way, I always encourage you guys to comment in the comments below. I feel like that's a great way for us to not only talk, well, for you guys to not only talk to me, but for you guys to talk to each other, because I love when you guys talk to each other and have intelligent conversations that way as well. But first of all, I just want to say, like, I really don't think that people should be associating some foods as good and some foods as bad. That being said, like, obviously I come from a vegan standpoint, and some foods, like, I'm gonna say I don't even really consider meat or dairy or eggs to be a food. And while I would consider some foods to be healthier than others, like for example, carrots are definitely way healthier than chugging pure olive oil. That doesn't mean that they're like good foods or bad foods. Every food serves a purpose for a certain type of situation. And there are people out there who live completely healthy lives and they never want to eat any food that's unhealthy or indulge in some like vegan sweets, but personally I just don't think that's sustainable, and I don't really think that that's a fun way to live. Maybe it is for them and I'm happy for them, but for me personally it's just so freaking boring. Like, if I just ate steamed vegetables and rice and like sweet potatoes all day, that would be boring. I want salt, I want seasonings, and I want fat. Like, I think there used to be a huge fear of fat around veganism for a while ago with like the high carb, low fat movement, but I feel like that's sort of dying down. But like, you are lying to yourself if you think food that is salt-free and fat-free tastes as good as salty, sugary, fatty food. Like, our bodies are trained to think that those foods taste better because they are more calorically dense, and we want to store energy for ourselves. We need energy in the form of food in order to survive. So one, holiday food just tastes really dang good. And food isn't just a form of sustenance. Like, maybe when we were all cavemen and we were just scavenging for food, yes, we just ate food purely to survive. But now food is such a major part of our cultures and our family gatherings, and there's a lot of feelings and emotions surrounded with it as well. Like, your grandma will make you a pie because she loves you and you can feel the love in her pie and it tastes so delicious. And I think that by restricting yourself from eating like not as healthy foods, especially during the holiday season, you are kind of missing out on that entertainment, or not that entertainment, that like experience. That being said, I'm not saying you should go eat your grandma's pie if it has butter in it. It's completely different if you're an ethical vegan and you think that animals should not be eaten. Like, I'm not going to eat grandma whatever's pie if it has dairy and eggs in it, because like I said, that's not food to me and there's cruelty involved with that. But if my grandma or my mom went out of their way to show me that they loved me and they made me a vegan dessert, or they veganized one of their classic dishes that I used to love growing up, and maybe it has a vegan butter in it, or maybe it's not the healthiest thing on earth for me, I'm still going to eat it because it's delicious, and I feel like it's going to hurt their feelings more that I refuse to eat their food because I don't think it's good enough or healthy enough for me, than it's going to hurt my body by eating one freaking meal. And also, it's probably not going to hurt your body. Such a small amount of food, like, I don't know. I definitely think we all just need to take a deep breath and relax, and as long as it's vegan, I think that it's totally game in the holidays. And also, I think that if you make the specific point to restrict yourself from eating certain foods, when you eventually allow yourself to indulge in them, you're probably going to eat more than you want or would want to eat and feel overstuffed and maybe even binge and then feel bad about yourself later. But I don't think that's necessarily like your fault. Like, your body was telling you, hey, this food is delicious, I want more of it, and you're not like ever giving me this, so I need to stock up now, if that makes sense. Which is why I'm a huge fan of intuitive eating and really listening to your body, not only during the holiday season, but during any time of year. Like, if you want a square of chocolate, maybe you want a square of chocolate because you're really hungry, or maybe you want a square of chocolate because you're stressed. But if you let yourself eat that chocolate on a more regular basis and saying, hey, yeah, I only need one square because I know I can have it whenever I want, versus I'm never allowed to have chocolate, and then you finally buy chocolate and you eat half of the bar or the whole bar in one sitting because it's like a rare treat for you. I think the frequently but more controlled consumption of indulgent foods is way healthier for both your body and your mind. So I would also keep that in mind during the holidays. Like, if you're sitting with your family and you feel really, really stuffed and you cannot eat anything else, and your grandma offers you dessert and you're like, I'm sorry, grandma, I don't want any because I'm going to throw up. Like, that's completely different than being like, you ate a little but you don't want to eat a piece of pie because it has oil or butter or refined sugar in it. You know what I'm saying? I keep using desserts as an example, but I feel like this can apply for anything. Like, if you try to eat mostly gluten-free just because you think gluten's not healthy, like, I'm gonna eat biscuits. If my mom made vegan biscuits with butter and gluten and whatever, like, they taste really good. I want to eat them. I want to share that moment with my family and thank my mom for putting in effort to make that food for me. And I'm not saying that during the holiday season you need to go wild and eat everything. That's kind of what I'm saying again with the portion control. Like, do what works best for you and find balance. So maybe one day you'll have a family gathering or get together with your friends and eat some more indulgent holiday treats. The next day, maybe your body's like, okay, I feel kind of weighed down from all that food. I want to keep things a little bit more healthy today. And you can eat a salad or cook some potatoes or have some soup. Like, it all balances out in the end. And if you learn to listen and trust your body, it will tell you what it wants. And you should not feel ashamed for eating indulgent food during holidays if you want to. And that being said, if your body's telling you that it's had too much food and it's feeling really weighed down, you shouldn't feel ashamed for having to turn that down either. So at the end of the day, I really do think it's all about balance, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts in the comments below. But at least my attitude during the holiday season is I look at something, well, actually during life as well. I will look at something and I'll be like, maybe that's not the healthiest for me, but that looks really freaking good and I'm still hungry, so I'm gonna eat a piece of that. And I don't care what's in it, if it is oil, blah, whatever. But I listen to my body too. When I need a green smoothie, I drink a green smoothie. And also, I just wanted to put a little caveat at the end. If you are a more health conscious vegan and you are trying to make some vegan dishes for your family members for the holidays, I definitely think there is a time and place for healthy food, but if they're not used to eating vegan food at all, I would say now is probably not the time to make them healthy, oil-free, gluten-free, salt-free vegan food, because it's gonna taste gross compared to what their bodies are used to eating. So this would definitely be the time to cook those more indulgent recipes and let loose and deep fry something if your family's gonna love it. You know what I mean? Because if you're trying to convert them or encourage them to try more vegan food, I think you need to show them that vegan food is delicious. And I mean, who doesn't love delicious vegan food? I feel so much more relaxed with food and so much more comfortable with eating like foods that have oil in it, because as you guys know, I don't cook with oil a lot in my personal cooking, but I really am happy to say that I just feel so much more relaxed about it now. There are way more important things in life worth stressing about than occasionally eating a little oil. Like if I want to eat some granola and it has oil in it, I don't care. I'm going to eat it because it's what my body is telling me that it needs, and it all balances out in the end. So hopefully you guys found this chat helpful and inspiring, and if this is what you needed to hear during the holidays, I definitely just think everyone needs to relax, take a deep breath. Ooh, and as my shirt says, eat plants and chill. But yeah, I think that is it for this talk. I wanted to keep things pretty short and sweet because I feel like when I let them go longer, I tend to ramble a lot more. So I'm just gonna end it now before I start rambling again. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.